Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lawyers and Mediators International Show and Podcast from Instant Mediation. It's where we discuss law and conflict resolution topics to educate both professional and everyday people. Hi, I'm Mag Pierre Louis, attorney mediator and arbitrator.
And I am Natalia Olowska, advocate, mediator, and arbitrator from Warsaw, Poland. In today's episode about the Mediators post-pandemic marketing toolbox, we are doing that within a series called Current Events in Conflict Resolution with Thomas Giglione. And let's get started. But remember, you can catch this discussion in any posts or past or future shows on our website, instantmediations.com, on the Lawyer and Mediator International YouTube channel, and on its podcasts, all most conveniently available from the Instant Mediations app. Be sure to stay connected.
All right, Thomas, good to have you again and good to talk to you as always. And so today we're going to be talking about marketing a little bit, right? But before we get there, Thomas, go ahead and briefly give the audience a little bit more information about yourself and how they can best contact you.
Okay, great. Yeah. So I'm Canadian. I was born in Canada, near Toronto, Ontario. I started off in the previous century as a mediator in 1999, and a lecturer at York University in Toronto, teaching ADR. And now I'm presently in Hanoi, Vietnam, practicing as a cross-border arbitrator and a commercial mediator, and develop my own niche market after this, what we call post-pandemic era.
Okay, great. And how can they get in contact with you?
You could reach me through my website, mediation.vn. That's easy to remember. And or search for my name on LinkedIn.
Awesome. So I'll start us off. So the topic we're talking about today is marketing, right? Marketing is something that every professional, has to know something about. Mediators are no exception. And so I know in my practice, I'm constantly looking for ways to connect with folks, right? Especially folks who might not have lawyers who don't know what mediators do. Give us a little bit of your thoughts on pre-pandemic marketing for mediators and during the current time.
Yeah. So basically, I view this time as kind of like a renaissance period. I think in my 20 years as a commercial mediator, I probably gone through about five or more different types of website, always updating it. And right now, I think the most important thing is for people that are in conflict resolution to determine what to call your service. Are you mostly focused in for the legal community? Are you more focused at your clientele for the pro se community, lay community? So you should call it. Are you going to call it mediation, dispute resolution, conflict management? The concept of mediation is not really always clear to the public. So you want to be. This is an opportunity to tweak that. So because the public fears that there's a coercive one loser concept where you divide everything in half, and the public really doesn't understand what mediation is.
And that was the time when we all started. These are the things and the environment we started operating with. But you, with your vast experience, also have a word to say about how you envisage the post-pandemic marketing toolbox for mediators might look like. And we will be delighted for you to share it with us.
Yeah. So number one is determine your niche area. So basically your niche can be determined about what you experienced, there's nothing stopping you from having multiple niches. For example, my original niche was doing 3-day workshops, doing lecturing, writing about mediation, and it's now evolved now to more into arbitration and mediation of non-fungible tokens, art disputes, So I have various niches. I do cross border, so it doesn't really hurt to have several niches, and there's an advantage to doing that. Um, and the advantage is that you become more valuable, and people will seek you as an expert, and this will give you more credibility. Number two is don't rely on your website. I find if I tabulated, I did algorithms where my business comes from. It used to come from the court roster, and it was steady mediation and such. But now I notice now that it basically comes through linking my website to Reddit and also to LinkedIn, and I find that. I I changed my I changed more to inbound marketing versus outbound marketing. So what is the difference? Do you want people to you want to find your clients, or do you want to be found? And it's much easier to be found because people are really wanting to know, uh, to talk to you, get your opinion, get your advice.
How have you done Reddit? What do you know actually do? I mean, you don't have to spill all the secrets of the trade, but I because I had never thought about marketing through a website like that before.
Yeah, well, Reddit is a really interesting community because there are like niches within niches within niches, and you find you never they never you find niches where you never thought there'd be one. And what happens is when you educate yourself in this niche, you become a part of a community. So you learn from other people what's going on in that community. For example, I knew nothing about non-fungible tokens, and now I'm thinking, well, wait a second, this is creating a problem. People are losing money. People are, they're not doing know your customer. They're not identity fraud, and all the rest of it. A whole paradigm of a new world that you never thought. Once you go down the rabbit hole, you go into a community where you could see lots of opportunity for conflict. During the COVID, I started taking up some painting. There was nothing to do. Everything was locked down. And I got involved with the artistic community, wanted to know more and more about Vietnamese sonmai art. It's a lacquer art. And finding out here, people in Hanoi, artists are disputing about provenance. Like I said, I like Reddit because they have these communities. Um, and the other thing I would recommend is create a charity platform using Instagram and Pinterest to show your involvement in the community. And basically, it gives you credibility and shows that you're a nice guy. And people, according to Cialdini's six laws of persuasion, is they the law of liking. People need to like you before they can work with you.
This is fantastic. And tell us, please, you already raised the curiosity so much. What do you do for charity? What's your charitable side of your business?
Well, I started off doing a lot of pro bono, work. Here I was a lecturer here at the University Faculty of Law in Hanoi, and doing a lot of pro bono work for the community and such. And now I'm more involved with areas such as, for example, designing role plays for simulations, online role plays for simulations. I actually by designing role plays, I've been designing role plays since for a long time now. And to be a mediator, to resolve conflict, I believe you have to be creative. And if once you design a role play, you could understand the root cause of the conflict, because you have to create that conflict in the role play. So if you don't know how to create conflict and where it comes from, and what are the miscommunications, what are the cues and things like that, then you don't understand mediation. But what you do is, when you put everything in place and do a simulation, you can really understand the root cause, not just by playing the mediation in a simulation, but actually not just taking part, but as actually designing it. So I find it quite enjoyable to do that, and I basically do that for um, the schools. I'd be interested in doing it in the United States, where there's a lot of conflict right now with the police unions, and areas where there might be some conflict. Um, with regards to that, there's international conflict where in Myanmar, now in Israel and Palestine, lots of ways that you could donate your simulations for law students in all over the world to use it for part of their curriculum.
Yeah, thanks. This let's go back to pro se's, okay, for a second,
Mhm.
because when you're talking about the root of conflicts, like we all go through conflict, okay. Many people, it might be in a family setting where folks are going through a divorce or going through a custody battle. They have conflict. They can't see eye to eye. The other side becomes the enemy. The other side becomes the other. That they're always wrong.
Mhm.
So when you're trying to market or trying to reach out to people who don't have lawyers, who might have a problem, but they don't necessarily know the best way to proceed, what would you say is the best way to reach out to them, to let them know that you exist, or to teach them about what mediators in fact do? Because again, we always say this, most of the public don't really know what we do.
Right. Well, basically, people are not looking for mediators, and people are not looking to pay for mediators. They want people to solve their problems, and if you're a problem solver in the community and people know you as such, they will come to you seeking for guidance and support. So, for example, in your own town, you could be involved politically. I don't mean federally or anything like that. I mean, go to your city hall. Once you get involved in the municipal affairs in the community, you get to know the police and the police union, and you get to know, the community issues. Get involved with, the education, bullying if you're involved with bullying, and such. Uh, because I always go back to Cialdini's six laws of persuasion, because if you cannot persuade people to work with you, then how can you persuade to solve their problems and mediate a dispute? So, there's a law of reciprocity. You basically you give, and you will get back. They call that karma, and I really believe that. And people only work with people that they like, and if they like you, it'd be easier to get business, get business. And also, getting back to the niche area, when you go into a lot of mediators define themselves, oh, I do 3-day workshops, and I do divorce mediation and such. Well, it's always good to fine tune that a little bit. Do you do training? Do you do, decide whether you want to go to training, or you know develop your niche. I To me, is a lot of people think, uh, when I say develop a niche, I don't mean develop one niche. I mean develop several, 2 or 3 different niches that are very much fine-tuned, because that is, again, Cialdini's 6 laws, law of scarcity. You make yourself scarce, there's more value for you, just like gold. And also, ask for testimonials from your clients, and because testimonials gives you authority, and also law of social proof gives you, the law, according to Cialdini, the law of social proof. Testimonials will validate and give you credibility.
This is also perfect. And when we think about ourselves as mediators, but also reaching out to people, also through communities, do you think that we should be doing that alone, or is there benefit of joining us together with our mediators to reach out? And how do you do that? How do you find people to work with?
Well, that's why I joined Instant Mediations. That's a plug
Thank you.
there, because I don't view myself as I've traveled 50 countries in 50 countries, and in the last 30 years, I guess it is. And I used to be, I'm still proud as a Canadian and such. And but just because I was born in Toronto, it doesn't make Toronto the best place in the world. I'm a globalist, and I view myself, home is where my hat is. And basically, now because of Zoom and, social media, conflict is universal. I'm a humanist, and I see conflict as, when I see conflict, I see it as something that I need to get myself involved in, because I think, in all these years, I figured out one thing that I believe, if you boil it down, the root cause of all conflict is fear. And people are very fear. They have fear, and if you could resolve that fear, many theories about that, but a lot of people are afraid, especially now, because of pandemic, and because of the increase in fear, that's created more conflict. And well, um, unfortunately, it's created more work for mediators, but mediators are still doing their 3-day workshops, hoping for people to come see the light for the tunnel. So it's the worst to do in any business is say, well, it's never been done before, or that's not how we've done it in the past. And what's going to happen, like most lawyers too, um, they're going to be dinosaurs. And a lot of mediators are looking, in that area, because they're, where am I? What am I doing? How come I'm not generating an income? So instant mediations was, that was the reason. I view myself as a globalist, and I view myself not as a mediator, because I do arbitrations also, but someone wanting to solve problems. And for me, why am I solving the problem is because people are afraid. And if you could, console people and help them in seeing a different perspective, that's the job of a mediator, by the way, then it's easier to solve the problem. But people will not work with you unless you're known as a good guy doing good work for the community.
Okay, thanks, Thomas. So I was listening to what you were talking about in terms of fear being one of the root causes or the root cause of conflict between people. I had always thought to myself that it was tribalism, right? That people like to see somebody else
Yeah.
as the other, and they
Yes,
attack
I agree.
motives. So,
Well,
like,
people
mhm,
go into tribes to lessen their fear.
yeah,
Okay, so because they feel more comfortable. Okay, so yeah, tribalism. But why do humans form a tribe? It's because it will lower their fear.
yeah,
And and that's why we have xenophobia, is because we're afraid of something that's different, different culture and everything else. So traveling is a great healer of xenophobia. And when you're in this society, you have less to fear, because knowledge is the power to resolve a lot of fear. And a lot of people don't have um, the knowledge or the community understanding of what causes conflict in the community, because what causes a conflict in Vietnam will be different what causes conflict in America. It's just different culture, different upbringing. That's my own personal experience. And uh, but I still believe that the root cause of all conflict is fear. When I look at all scenarios, and when I do my role plays,
mhm,
I think, okay, I want conflict. I put fear in there. How can I make this character afraid? And all of a sudden, I get conflict.
got it.
So
Interesting.
that's my theory. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, Natalia, you want to close us out?
Thank you so much. This is really, we were talking about the mediators toolkit for the times of post-pandemic. You closed your statement with encouraging us to travel us as mediators, but also people who are process, because that will also enable them to lessen their fear, to be more open to talking and to be more open to understanding and solving their problems. And this is also what we want to invite our viewers and listeners to. We want you to stay with us. We want to know what you think. We want to invite you to the instantmediations.com so that you learn more. And most of all, so that via our Instant Mediations app, you're able to stay with us, stay tuned, and also join us for our next episodes of this podcast. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Thank you so much, Thomas.
Thank you,
Thanks, Tom.
Natalia. Thank you, Mac. Bye-bye.